Hello everyone, welcome to Eternal Brews. My name is Pojo, and I thought we'd start the new year off with a little bit of just fun, greedy control. We're back on Tomorrow Never Dies, and we're playing around with some of the new Dusk Road cards, having ourselves an absolute time and really enjoying what the new set has to offer. So to talk about some of the new cards and what we're going to be putting into the deck and what we're going to be sort of using as our new fun ramp archetype, we're going to just fiddle around with this deck a little bit more, and it should be really good times. So first things first, let's go ahead and talk about what's new. This is, of course, our Ironthorn ramp deck. We are trying to basically build a very large amount of power so that we can cast New Tomorrow or 8 of the Hooru and basically just win the game from those big cards. If we can actually get those cards off, that really helps out, because basically 8 of the Hooru will almost always win a game pretty much entirely on its own merits. And then we also have Channel the Tempests in here. We have a big pile of other big, important, fun cards, and we're running some card draw and some lightning storms and some harsh rules to sort of stabilize in the early game and get things set up. Okay, so there's a lot of new cards from the Dusk Road that really support this archetype, and let's talk about each of them in turn. First things first, we have one of Temporal Distortion. Temporal Distortion is an 8-cost card that says your spells are fast, and at the start of the enemy turn, you get to replenish your power. Now, this card is absolutely great if you are playing it in any sort of deck with a bunch of big, slow spells, which, as it turns out, we have a lot of. Temporal Distortion in particular works extremely well with Channel the Tempest and with the Great Parliament, and you may have already seen a number of Temporal Distortion control decks out there. I think I called this one as being one of the more powerful cards that was going to be out there. It just gives you essentially an extra turn every turn where you get to play all of your power and play all of your spells all over again, and if you're doing it in terms of cards like Great Parliament, it essentially gives those cards ambush, so you can throw out 3 or 4 4/4 owls and then immediately murder your opponent with them on your turn. So just at the end of their turn, Great Parliament, and then damage. It's pretty great stuff. Temporal Distortion is just fantastic. I'm sure if we see it get played in any of the games that we're about to show off, that we'll have a pretty fun time with it. So yeah, this card is really delightful, and you can build a pile of decks around it using Channel the Tempest and many other exciting cards. We have Eilyn Clanmother, a 6/7 flying endurance with summon silence to enemy units, and ultimate pay 8 to give Eilyn +2/+2. This card does everything. It's really quite solid. As a 6/7 flyer, she's just above most of the solid removal cards. She's got the hybrid colors, so again, immune to annihilate, always good times. The double silence is actually really quite effective and gives her some immediate board presence, which is something you always want out of a card like that. And then finally, the ultimate allows her to pay 8 to deal 6 damage to each enemy unit without a battle skill, which after silencing 2 units typically means a full board wipe on your opponent's side. Now, we happen to like full board wipes on our opponent's side, so this card replaces Leave a Witness for us very easily. And since it is a full 15, similar to Ironthorn's 20 to kill all enemy units, this is a cheaper way after New Tomorrowing to just completely wipe out your opponent's board. But you can also play it on 7 and feel very happy about your life choices. It is just a very solid card in that situation. Invoke the Waystones makes an appearance as a 1-of in this deck, because why would it not? It is a 4-time 6-drop that discards the top 4 cards of your deck and then plays the top cards of your deck. It is also our spoiler for the Dusk Road, and what a nice spoiler it was. You get to do a lot of cool things with this. So creating and drawing a copy of Invoke the Waystones with cost increased by 1 is the other part of that ability, which means that Invoke the Waystones can be played infinitely as long as you have the ability to reshuffle your deck, which we aren't running because we don't need to play Invoke the Waystones infinitely. Alright, people will tell you that Invoke the Waystones is not a strong card. I would like to sort of try and push you around on that one. If I can convince you otherwise, I'd be very happy to, because what I think of Invoke the Waystones is that it is quite a strong card. While the card that you play is random, it is something that allows you to ramp out power as an extra additional power, which in a big ramp deck is totally reasonable. In a high-density deck of very large threats, you can use it to play cards like Channel or 8 of the Hooru early, which is not as common, but still very fun if you can do it. and it often will just get like a unit or something and be pretty good. The thing about Invoke the Waystones is that it's not the card that you want to play all the time. It is the card that you want to play when you have no other cards in hand. And when you are doing that, you are essentially just top decking twice. You get to top deck twice about 5 to 6 extra times safely, and that is actually really, really solid because it gives you just 6 extra cards worth of advantage and a really decent amount of power in any sort of situation where you wouldn't otherwise be able to play a card. So if you're replacing Invoke the Waystones with like a Leave a Witness or something like that, then that card's very situational. You're not going to be able to play it all the time. Invoke the Waystones will often be just a little bit better in these situations. I think this card is absolutely bananas. It is often not the card that you want to play, but it will make sure that your hand is always full of cards and that you are always playing something every turn. And that's exactly what you want to do in a deck that has a pile of power. In addition, we can play this card multiple times with other things, and it's just got a lot of fun involved with it, where it gets to do really, really fantastic things and create some cool, like, insane saves. There is a bug right now with Invoke the Waystones, however, where if it casts a harsh rule onto an empty board, it will end the game and both players will receive not a game loss, but they will get disconnected. So we are not going to play Invoke the Waystones onto an empty board, but be aware of that, and I wouldn't play that card in that situation. Hopefully that'll get fixed within the next week or so. Okay, Worldbearer Behemoth, 6/7 Overwhelm is another new card off the Dusk Road. This is probably the most important craft. All of the other cards that we've talked about so far are highly optional for a big ramp deck. You can play pretty much anything in the top end that you want in a big ramp deck, and it's mostly about like how you want to divide the numbers up. Now with Worldbearer Behemoth, this card, whenever it attacks, plays 1 random power card from your deck and then increases that ability by 1. Now this is good for a lot of different reasons, but it's mainly because it just fills a slot that Tomorrow Never Dies does not have, and that Ironthorn ramp in general does not have. It gives you something to do on turn 5, which is not Marshal Ironthorn, which is pretty important because Marshal Ironthorn is very typically a turn 6 card where you play it on turn 5 and then you play it on turn 6 and then you play your power to get the 2 power out of Ironthorn. So not only is it a turn 5 play that you can play and feel happy about playing, but it's also something that can attack and trigger additional Ironthorn plays. So it just curves seamlessly into Marshal Ironthorn. And if you Worldbearer Behemoth into Marshal Ironthorn, you will be well on your way to casting New Tomorrow or 8 of the Hooru. You'll be up to 9 power almost immediately, and of course if you get the second power, then you're going to be at the 12 that you need very, very quickly. Basically, this card both stacks with Ironthorn and also serves as a replacement for Ironthorn, which means that we have really, really good ramp to get up to all of these ridiculous 8 drops, which means that we can stack the top end of this deck even further than we already have. What's not to love about that? Okay, we have our standard Omen stuff, Devoted Theurge, Vision of Austerity. This is very similar to the previous deck. The other 2 cards that are pretty important here... Oh, actually, we do have Crests, which... yeah, those are really, really solid. It's very important to be able to scout your power and get exactly the draws that you want. This deck involves a lot of selective drawing, and now that we have some really, really, really good blue tools to do that kind of thing, we're definitely going to be using them. Crest of Wisdom is one of them. The other one that's really good here is Strategize, which is draw 2 cards, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. This is Primal Power. This card is very, very strong, and it gives you a lot of additional stuff that you can do in order to effectively sort your control decks. This card has, I would say, revived control in the meta in terms of blue stuff, and it's just made it like a pretty ridiculous sort of meta to be playing around in. Like, we are actually seeing the Temporal Distortion control. We're seeing a wide variety of other interesting decks. Sicaria Blue is making some weird appearances. I've seen just every sort of interesting thing. We'll definitely be showing some Crown decks off and some Lumen Reclaimer stuff. Like, there's a lot of cool things that are going on with Strategize. But basically, this is the 2-drop that you absolutely want. It replaces Wisdom of the Elders very easily, but we are keeping some copies of that as well because the card advantage is quite useful. Finally, we have Family Charter, a 1 cost that also gives us Scout. So with this much Scout, we are quite capable of sorting through our deck and getting exactly the power we want. This allows us to cut a couple of the find the ways and basically just get ourselves into a pretty simple situation. We are drawing power whenever we need to, and when we're not drawing power, we're drawing the exact threat that we want. So that Scout's really useful, but the pay 6 and sacrifice to draw 2 cards is also very useful and very good in ramp decks. We're keeping this at 2 for now. I've certainly had it fine success with it at 4, but I've been moving numbers around, and I think that at the moment it's pretty good at 2 as well, and that means that you can do a little bit more early on and play some cards like Lightning Storm, which I'm very interested in having 4 copies of right now because it's the start of the month, and there's all sorts of aggro decks out there. That's pretty much it for the deck. We ate of the Hooru, we draw a bunch of cards. We channeled the Tempest, we draw a bunch of cards. We wipe the board with all of our harsh rules and leave a witnesses. We gain some life with Devoted Theurge to stabilize, and we fill the board with Owls with Great Parliament. And then everything else is just the fun stuff we discussed. This deck is an absolute pile of delightful, just glorious jank wonderfulness. And it's actually relatively competitive thanks to the strength of cards like Strategize and Family Charter, and all of the cool sorting abilities that we have, and of course Temporal Distortion. Like, most of these cards are already very, very good on their own, and we're just playing them all together in a big, soupy, wonderful mess. There's not much that I don't love about that. So let's play a couple rounds with it and show you how it works. See you in a few, folks. Alright, we are up against Rackalacken, and as a 1-power hand, that's not a hand we want to keep. Generally, you want to keep hands with as much power as humanly possible. I would keep a 6-power hand in this deck, depending on what the 7th card was. There is a Crest of Wisdom here and a Seat of Progress, and that means that we are going to get to Strategize pretty quick, so I think I'm very much down on that. We'll go ahead and Crest of Wisdom now and see what we can draw. Marshal Ironthorn is not a bad pickup at all. Let's see here. I've got to seek power so I can pick up the 3rd blue to play this Wisdom of the Elders. That means I've got a decent chance of getting to my 5th power. I think I can keep this Ironthorn fairly safely. We've also already got the Lightning Storm, so I feel pretty good about that. And I want to get to this channel and this aid pretty soon. I think we'll probably strategize the aid of the Hooru to the bottom, which is one of the great parts about Strategize, is that when you draw an aid too soon, you can immediately put it on the bottom and you won't have to deal with it for the rest of the game, which is always good times. Okay. Quarry throws a Cabal Countess into the void. That's pretty scary from a Stonescar standpoint, but at the same time, this deck appears to be aggressive and hasn't actually done anything yet. So we will go ahead and seek power here. I'm going to grab that 2nd green that I super need. Oh wait, maybe I grab this blue instead. I grab this blue instead so I can play Wisdom of the Elders on time. And we'll see the progress here. And hopefully we'll be able to get the Marshal Ironthorn out. But regardless, I think we're in decent shape here.
Draw, Mr.
Rakano Outlaw plays. And here's an interesting decision. So I can Lightning Storm this turn in case I'm worried about weapons or other cool things going on, like katanas, things like that. I've actually been more on the side of doing that early lately, but I have these Wisdom of the Elders and I really need to draw power, so we're going to go ahead and do that instead. Alright, a Crest of Wisdom gives me the opportunity to find some more power pretty quickly. I can also strategize to find a little bit more power, which would also be good. Let's see if my opponent wants to play anything else aggressive. He's got an Argenport Instigator. That's not a particularly big surprise. I'm going to go ahead and... Let's go ahead and Crest here. No, I'm actually going to Wisdom here, and then I'm going to Crest after. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we're looking for green. Anything that isn't green we throw away. Seek Power is technically green, so I think I'll take it. Okay, I can Lightning Storm or I can play Worldbearer Behemoth. Either one's kind of interesting. Worldbearer Behemoth is pretty likely to get annihilated, which is not my favorite thing. I can also strategize and try to find that 2nd Lightning Storm, but I'm not sure if that really appeals to me either. I think the best play for me here is going to be to... Oh, if I... So I need to play Marshal Ironthorn on 5 if I can. Which means that I'm going to want other things to do for the rest of my time. Okay, so we'll seek power for the green. And we'll strategize. And I'm going to bury probably this green since I don't need another double green. Alright, and with Seat of Wisdom, I can Lightning Storm the 2-drop away. It's not the ideal situation, but I need to take a little less damage this turn. And hopefully we can set up something a little bit better next time. Did I not play the green that I was specifically looking for? I did not. Alright, very silly. Okay, so he's attacking for 3 here, but now he's having second thoughts. Oh, a holdout pistol. That's fine. So Devoted Theurge is probably the best card that I can throw down here, although Worldbearer Behemoth should get the job done just fine. Let's play that and play the Justice here. Worldbearer Behemoth can hold out against pretty much anything. If there's a rapid shot, I'm fine with tanking it for the moment. And then I would really like to play Devoted Theurge pretty quick here because I'm in a pretty rough spot. But getting a little bit set up should be helpful. Second holdout pistol does nothing, and my opponent's actually stymied. He doesn't have anything that he can do this turn. He can attack me for a bunch, but that doesn't really do anything. So we'll go ahead and let that go. And now things get really fun. Marshal Ironthorn plays, we attack with Worldbearer Behemoth, and we get our double power, which then gets us another double power off of this one, which in turn means that we get to play Devoted Theurge and gain some life and get ourselves out of this Stone Scar hole that we're in. So my opponent's stuck on 2, not in good shape. We get to just sort of take advantage of that and have a little bit of fun. Next turn I can Aid of the Hooru very safely, provided Ironthorn doesn't die. Holdout pistol here does in fact kill the Theurge. And if I don't want to take 5, I'm probably willing to just block with Ironthorn. I assume he's going to attack. Yep. Yeah, we'll block with Ironthorn. That's not a big deal. Okay, shall we go... I think we go for maximum fanciness here. Ironthorn, Ironthorn. Swing with Worldbearer Behemoth. Trigger twice. Which then doubles up to quads. Follow that with a Primal Sigil and I can play Channel the Tempest, but he's done. He's done, son! And that was a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and go on to the next game. Oh, just thinking about tomorrow. And I think this hand's pretty good. Yeah, this is a weird one, but I think with 3 strategizes, there's probably not that many ways it can go wrong. I think I need power more than I need a fourth strategize. That's a little bit too much dirtle, so we'll go ahead and put that down and we'll see if we can pick up some gas. I might be putting strategizes on top, who knows. Okay, a primal there, and we're obviously not going to be using Aid of the Hooru, so we'll dirtle away the aid, and there's the Seed of Progress, which means that we get our power for the turn. Strategize, as I said, has pretty effectively replaced Find the Way in terms of just giving us something cool to do. And when we draw a bunch of power, we aren't flooding out quite as much, so it feels pretty good. I'm very, very happy to have this card in my deck. Okay, I need a 3rd time for Worldbearer Behemoth, and I don't really need much else in terms of what we're doing with power. It's nice to have Channel the Tempest in hand, but I'm pretty happy to throw it away if it means getting some other things in the deck. However, we're playing against a Time Justice Primal deck, which means that it is probably Temporal Distortion Control. And Temporal Distortion Control is a unitless deck, so we're going to toss the Harsh Rule instead. I could be wrong about this. This could be Chalice or something along those lines. If it's Chalice, I'm still pretty okay with losing the Harsh Rule. But the Moon Dial would suggest that it is in fact Temporal Distortion Control, so we will go ahead and leave that be. And I'm going to play the Seed of Progress here. Should have played the Primal instead. That's okay. We'll go ahead and strategize, and Seed of Wisdom's X2. Very, very happy with that. I'll go ahead and throw one of them away because we've got enough power for the moment. We can play our Worldbearers and go to town. Seek power here. Looks pretty good. And a Primal Sigil. Wisdom of the Elders drawing plenty of cards as well. Moon Dial's an interesting one. I think I benefit from the Nightfall more than he does at the moment. And I'm pretty happy to go ahead and Seed of Wisdom here to play the Worldbearer Behemoth. Find the Way is not a card that we need right now. We've got enough power, though it might be nice to get another blue. And the first Vanquish comes out, followed by a Find the Way. Now with Temporal Distortion, what we really want to do is run him out of cards as fast as possible. Like if we can get his hand down to a reasonable size before he gets to Temporal Distortion, that's pretty solid. Just the less options he has, the better. If we continue to generate threats, Temporal Distortion can run out of gas, unlike our particular version, which is just far too greedy for that. So we'll see what happens. There's certainly some strategizing going on, and he's deciding if he's got another Vanquish or another fun card to play. If he doesn't have one, then he's going to get a Worldbearer Behemoth to the face, which is always my favorite thing. Okay, cool. Okay, so I can sacrifice Family Charter to draw some cards, which wouldn't be a bad way to go about things. I kind of prefer Wisdom of the Elders, though. Let's go ahead and attack for 6. Or, yeah, get our 6 damage. Maybe get an Island's Choice to the face here. Yep. We're not currently running any backlashes or anything crazy here. We just want to, like, get all of the stuff to happen. Crest of Wisdom, and there is a harsh rule there, which is not my favorite thing. Find the Way gets me some more power, and Find the Way again gets me some more power. I need undepleted power, however, to get the Channel the Tempest out, which is going to be pretty critical here. Okay, he's finding the way, but he hasn't found power as fast as I have, so I will be able to play Channel a turn earlier, and that'll actually be a pretty big deal, especially if I can get to my Temporal Distortion first. Crest of Wisdom, okay, you're not quite the card I'm looking for, but let's go ahead and just sacrifice the Family Charter right now. We'll draw our 2 cards, Devoted Theurge and another Worldbearer Behemoth, I love it. And a Crest of Wisdom gets me a Lightning Storm, which is worthless. We'll throw that away. Alright, so yeah, yellow, green, blue typically means unitless. Can mean Chalice, but right now at this elo, lots and lots of Temporal Distortion control. Family Charter again. I don't have undepleted power, so I'm just going to channel his face. Where am I? There's a world in which I play the Worldbearer Behemoth instead. That's actually a pretty good world, considering how much stuff's going on right now. We're going to Crest of Wisdom. I see a Justice Sigil, and I need the undepleted, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it, and Family Charter will have to play as well. Should have played the Family Charter first in this instance. Okay, keep that on top, because I need the undepleted power to play New Tomorrow. And once I get New Tomorrow, this game gets pretty out of control. Seat of Order, does he have the Distortion? He doesn't have the Distortion. Deck usually doesn't have the Distortion straight up. It sometimes has Celestial Omen, but it often doesn't get a chance to use it if you're playing big threats like Worldbearer Behemoth. So we're not giving him any time to rest, is basically the idea. Alright, attack here. We actually get our undepleted power played out pretty quick. Eilyn's Choice happens.
You don't want to make my allies your
and what's my most important card? He's got an Unseal is the main thing. I could play Devoted Theurge and draw some cards and have a little bit of fun there. Channel is fairly good here, but I think I probably prefer to... Yeah, I'm pretty on the side of Channel. Let's get the Unseals out of his hands if he got it. Okay, he doesn't have it, so he's going to take 10 to the face. And now we know that he doesn't have counterspells, which is just ideal. Let's go ahead and play a Justice Sigil here, and that'll probably be the end of the game. Next turn I can Aid of the Hooru without any issues, or I can New Tomorrow. I think New Tomorrow makes the most sense. Alright, no Unseal, New Tomorrow. Could be an Eilyn's Choice.
We must rebuild.
Nope, we're good to go. So we get 10 power off the top. That's going to make our Great Parliaments into just murder machines. And I have a Seat of Order, a Time Sigil, and a couple of depleted sigils, which I'm going to play right now. Marshal Ironthorn is on the top. Pretty happy to have him, I guess. Actually, no, he's not that important to this deck. Go ahead and play the Primal here. It's nice to have him for the New Tomorrow, but at the moment we're not looking at a lot, so... Okay, Celestial Omen gets him his Temporal Distortion, but I think at this point we're probably going to win that race, so let's go ahead and... First things first, play Aid of the Hooru. He's got a counterspell up. Nope, he's just got a fast spell response of some kind that we don't care about. There's another Aid of the Hooru. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and play Marshal Ironthorn, because I'm going to need more power here.
Run far enough.
Play a Wisdom of the Elders. I need my own Temporal Distortions pretty badly. Aid of the Hooru will do fine here. And a Devoted Theurge to gain some life and give us some proof against Channel the Tempest. And my turn? Probably going to be a harsh rule. Channel the Tempest, okay. We take a little bit to the face, and I discard this Justice Sigil. Now, Aid of the Hooru is beefing me up against the channels, so that's pretty important. He gets to harsh rule here and have a pretty good time. Wisdom of the Elders, not that big a deal. And Lightning Storm does nothing. Omen of Austerity knocks out Temporal Distortion, so we're going to do that right now. Because, gosh, do I not want that to happen anymore. Does he have the Unseal? He does have the Unseal. And he's blown up my family charter, but that's fine. We'll 8 of the Hooru here. Devoted Theurge plays. And then we gain some life so that we don't die to anything crazy. I can seek power out a little bit if I need to, but obviously there's no power left in my deck. It's all gas from here. Seed of Wisdom, he's got a Harsh Rule again, that's fine. We're going to keep forcing him to play those out, and we of course have our own Temporal Distortions coming in at some point. Leave a Witness is not a card that I need. I'm going to play both of these Seeks just so that I empty out my hand a little bit. And probably the Lightning Storm as well. Yeah, we'll go ahead and throw the Lightning Storm as well. 8 of the Hooru. And we got to channel the Tempest that we can throw at his face for 14. Which we'll do since we know that he doesn't have anything good right now.
Unleash the storm.
No counter spells, no distortion for us, but we're on our last 13 cards, and I think we're in pretty good shape. Discard these Lightning Storms and this Harsh Roll. Now, I might be able to owl out a little bit, but I have just everything that I need at the moment, so I think we'll probably be fine. Ironthorn wipes the owls off the board, so we don't need the Harsh Rules. And I've got 2 4/4s, so yeah, I think we're good. I think we should just win this round. We are greedier than the Temporal Distortion deck by a very large margin. There's Storm 1. And Storm 2. No owls to be found. Stronghold Visage plays, and I have another channel, so... yeah, seems like the right play.
Unleash the storm.
Go ahead and secure that lethal with all of this wonderful, wonderful stuff in hand. And yeah, very, very happy times. Against the Temporal Distortion deck, if you can keep your health above a certain amount, the primary damage dealers for the deck are the Channel the Tempests. So the big problem, of course, is that sometimes they have Great Parliament, which they can play off of an ambush onto Temporal Distortion. So you have to shut down that Temporal Distortion somehow if you can. Not always the easiest thing. Vision of Austerity is certainly the card to do it. Most of the time you just have to race the thing as soon as it comes out. But yeah, that was a delightful time. Let's play another. Alright, we're going to do 3, I think, to keep it fairly short. Worldbearer, Behemoth, Marshal, Ironthorn, 8 of the Hooru, and Channel the Tempest. I have the correct colors here. Double green, triple yellow, which is enough to play Worldbearer, Behemoth. I am first, so Sand's a little bit scary because it's got 2 big cards I don't need, and I don't have any sort of sorting mechanisms, but I'm fairly likely to draw them. I think I want to keep this. I like the Ironthorn and the Worldbearer. I think that we could probably afford to lose 1 to 2 turns to get that whole thing set up. And against a Felm deck, I'm feeling a lot happier about that. We play the blue here so that we get a chance at getting double blue and playing Wisdom of the Elders on time. It's not typically common that we're going to get them, but I think that's all good. You'll notice this deck... well, there you go. This deck does not have Waystones in it, primarily because we are using Seats and Banners, or Seats primarily, and we're trying to get it so that we can use Seek Power effectively to pick up certain cards. And also we're using Crests, so like it's a big, difficult setup. I think that if we feel that we are happy enough with our scry effects, like if we're using Royal Charter instead of Seek Power and we're using a lot of Crests, then we could potentially throw some Waystones in here, but the payoff's a little bit too low here and I really, really want to run Seek Power, so I think we're largely good with where we're at. Alright, Gorgon Fanatic is definitely going to get stormed here. That's what storms are for. Could get Haunting Scream back in my face, and that's never a fun thing, but we at least have some lifesteal, and we can potentially throw an owl down to deal with that. Okay. I think I like Worldbearer Behemoth the most here. Great Parliament's pretty nice because Levitate is sometimes a thing that Gorgon Fanatic decks have, but if he Levitates, then he's got 1 less power to deal with the Worldbearer Behemoth. Okay, Permafrost it is. Would have not mattered if I'd played the Parliament or the other option, but yeah, this seems safe. Strategize puts an 8 of the Hooru back on top and draws me the power that I need. Crest of Wisdom, I'll take it. Another Harsh Rule. That card's not unreasonable, but I really need power right now, so we're gonna just take a break off of it. Seek Power there. There's a world in which I just harsh rule this turn, even if I draw a power. But I'm pretty comfy with Marshal Ironthorn to get everything going. Okay, yeah, this is the world in which I harsh rule instead of drawing a power. 2 units on board that I can't really deal with, and I do not love Felon Bloodcaster drawing cards off of my deck, because the quality of the cards on my deck is very, very high. So we're going to go ahead and kill that.
This ends now.
And then we can either draw a power and channel, or we can draw a power and like Ironthorn into Parliament, both of which are pretty good, and should really stymie a Felm deck. So another Bloodcaster. No power, which is really unfortunate. I guess we could Parliament here. Yeah. I want him to be occupied with my units so that he's not using his Felm Bloodcaster to pull Channel the Tempests off my deck. But looks like I didn't scare him enough. Maybe an Ironthorn would have been necessary there. Okay, well, Ironthorn does play here at least. So I get to play that.
You've run far enough.
Attack for 4. And then Parliament for 2. I now have double channel, which is just what I need. We do have an Aegis on my opponent's face, so the first channel's not going to hit for much, but it already wasn't hitting for much, so I think we're fine. Storm into Witch. Wow. Yep, that's a combo. Always a good one. I think we can harsh rule here if we feel like it, and that actually is the best route because I don't have the blue for channels yet. But once we get that extra blue, we'll be good to go. Okay, Harbinger's a big enough deal that I should probably try and kill it. Not looking great here. I'm really worried about Champion of Cunning. That card can really be fairly difficult to deal with if we are a slower deck. Okay, Family Charter, what do you got? You got an Invoke the Waystones, which, dang good card here. I'm gonna be drawing 6. I don't really have much to do, so I think I'll keep the Invoke the Waystones and we'll just draw it. I'm kind of looking for blue a little bit more than Invoke the Waystones, but Temporal Distortion plus Invoke is actually quite good. Okay. Okay, Lightning Storm not helping. We'll Distortion here, and then we'll Invoke as a fast spell. Always fun. Here we go. Okay, I get to choose a Sigil. It's going to be a blue, obviously. And what do you know? Our problems are solved. I can also, yeah, I can also do a couple of other things, but really the main one there is that we got the power that we need, so channel that.
Unleash the storm.
And with a Theurge in hand and a channel as well, I think we're solid. Black Sky Harbinger number 2. Probably just channel that as well. Yoop.
Unleash the storm.
Worldbearer Behemoth plus Theurge means that we're in pretty good shape there. My opponent hasn't played my card, I don't think. Let me see if he's played a stolen card. Yeah, he played a stolen Seek Power. Oh, good. Oh, wait, no, hang on a sec. Those are already colorless. I'm insane. So he might be sitting on an 8 of the Hooru. I'm a little bit worried about that. Okay, Shadow Sigil there, and I'll start my turn. We're going to go ahead and play Marshal Ironthorn
You've run far
and a power. I want to play Worldbearer Behemoth, but I think I'd better stay out of the way of channel, so let's devote a Theurge as well. That puts us up to 10. Annihilate kills Ironthorn. Okay, that's good. And then 8 of the Hooru will help us out against Channel the Tempest. So, he's got a channel, we're not dead.
Show no mercy.
Okay, first things first, we Lightning Storm that. Oh wait, no, I should have 8'd. Yeah, 8 of the Hooru would have been correct. And I guess since I can't 8 of the Hooru, I will go ahead and throw the Invoke the Waystones. How many cards left in the deck? 36. We haven't New Tomorrow'd yet, so Invoke the Waystone's going to be pretty good. Yeah, Parliament of Owls. That's a good amount of damage there. Another Parliament there. So we throw 8 of the Hooru to stun the champion. And the Annihilate's a fine response. Alright, I'll Crest of Wisdom here. Look at the top card of my deck. It's a Vision of Austerity, which I don't need here, but might be good if my opponent's trying to Azindil's Gift me. Yeah, let's hold on to that just in case of, like, emergency break glass type of situation. And I'll end my turn. Throw away a Justice Sigil. Now at the start of my turn, I get to Aid of the Hooru again, or I get to Parliament, which will kill him. Okay. It's the whole Storm Witch again. Cool that he got all that together. But that's 12 damage. Can I do more? Aid of the Hooru would be a little bit more. I think we Parliament and then we Invoke the Waystones. Or we could Strategize and try and pick up power that way. Nah, I think Invoke the Waystones is a better way to go.
The Waystones hold
Either
great
one gives me a
power.
random chance at something. I could Harsh Roll here. Okay, Seed of Wisdom, that's fine. And sure, we'll Strategize as a fast spell. Always good to just have all of these turns to do whatever we want. Oh good, Eilyn Clan Mother. She's a very, very solid card here. So I play a power. I will Eilyn Clan Mother and silence these two units. And I will blow the whole board up. And swing for 12. Currently at 14, that's well above channel limits. And I haven't seen... Does he have an aid? Yep. It's incorrect to respond with my own Aid of the Hooru, as funny as it would be. The correct play is to Aid of the Hooru after he is Aid of the Hooru'd, so that we can attack with our units safely. And that should kill him. Okay, 12, 16, he's at 15, so that'll be game. And that's the craziness we're looking for. We had a wonderful time. I think that was a really good demonstration of how the deck is going. So I'm very, very happy to have stitched that together. I'm looking to put up a lot of brews this month, and I'm going to be working on them as much as I can. I had some difficulty recording yesterday, but we're getting back into the swing of things, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of stuff up for you this week. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to call this one good and ship it out. And hopefully you guys will be enjoying it as of tomorrow, Wednesday. So feel free to like and subscribe if you like the video and you want to see some more cool stuff, fun Eternal jank, also some competitive decks. We're working on a Rakano deck that I really, really like. And yeah, that'll be pretty much everything. See you guys next time with more Dusk Road content. Cheers.